Hey y'all, Bladed Angel here, and today we're doing a good old list about cheap cars in good old bladed style. So let's get on with the video, which is about 6 fun cars on a cheap budget. So to any high schoolers out there who are turned off by how expensive cars are, what if I told you for under $1,000 or even for around $500 you could get a bulletproof, reliable, sexy V8 beast? I mean, do you really need the latest and greatest smartphone or the next generation console? Of course you don't, you frickin' normie, so go buy Crown Victoria instead. According to VinWiki, these things are also chick magnets, and let's be real, how can they not be? The Crown Vic is so widely utilized for all kinds of purposes. From being a police car to being a taxi, you name it, the Crown Victoria has probably lived it. Thanks to massive demand and massive production of this car, these cars can be found everywhere for little cost. On top of that, they were loved for their durable design as well as the fact that they were extremely well built in all aspects, making them really solid cars, especially for those who just want something that runs. And run it will do, as for 300,000 miles isn't even the beginning of this car's lifespan. Add another several hundred thousand while you're at it. The Crown Victoria has an extensive aftermarket to look at, so should you feel like it's not fun enough, you can always make it more fun. However, the coolest aspect about buying a Crown Vic is the story that comes along with each one. Maybe the reason people love these cars so much is the fact that each one oozes so much personality and carries a lot of memories. So if you feel like you want to add another chapter to that story, then get yourself behind the wheels of one of these beauties. I mentioned the Eclipse in one of my earlier videos, but I mentioned the 3rd generation, which apparently is the most hated generation, so yeah, whoops, sorry about that. Anyways, this time around, I'll be suggesting the 2nd generation instead. The 2nd gen Eclipse is very beautiful, boasting nice curves and a very balanced coupe design. The GS trims go anywhere from $2,000 to $4,000, and they feature 2-liter 4-cylinders that make 140 horsepower. Should you want more power, you can look at the GST models, which have a turbo that boosts power output to 210. If front-wheel drive isn't your fancy, then you can get a GSX model that features all-wheel drive, as well as a turbocharged engine aforementioned from before. However, the GST and GSX trims are very desirable for collectors, and they can fetch prices from $8,000 to even $16,000, which, I'll be honest with you guys, if you're just someone looking for fun, there are so many other cars that you can buy for $16,000, like for example, an LS2 400 horsepower Corvette C6, like that's a seriously better car if you're just talking about fun and speed. And if you aren't a collector or a huge fan of the Eclipse, just get a GS model and call it a day, because for $2,000, they're huge blasts and worth every penny. Remember when auto manufacturers were experimental enough to make low-price, mid-engine sports cars? Yeah, I'm pretty sure a lot of people don't remember those days, but if you do remember those days and you miss those days, then why not buy something that brings back those memories? The Toyota MR2 is renowned for its amazing tuning platform, as well as the fact that people refer to it as a mid-engine Miata. Honestly, any of the 3 generations are a great find, so pick whichever one fits your fancy. The styling on the 2nd and 3rd generation are very beautiful, even by modern standards, and since I'm doing this video in good old bladed style, I need to mention kit cars. If you don't think the MR2 is sexy enough as is, you could completely butcher the poor thing and turn it into a replica Ferrari using DNA Automotive's kit. Warning. Possible side effects may include complete loss of respect by everyone, constantly losing every race since your car isn't actually a Ferrari, and being seen as a scumbag wannabe famous person. Proceed with caution. If you're looking for another dirt cheap mid-engine car, but the MR2 doesn't quite seem to do it for you, then how about the Pontiac Fiero? The Pontiac Fiero was the first and only mass-produced mid-engine American car, with over 370,168 units made. The 4-cylinder models can be found for as low as $1,000, and the V6 models still go for around $5,000. Honestly, just buy whichever one fits your budget, because the reputation that precedes this car is that it's an unreliable piece of garbage, so if its days are numbered, may as well just drive it to the ground and fix it up as you go along. One of the car's biggest issues is its suspension. Even though the suspension helps it drive like a nimble and fun car, it also brought several issues due to its complicated design. Don't expect to beat anyone in stoplight drags with this car, but if you find a nice back road to carve through corners on, then this will put a smile on your face. The Mazdaspeed 3 was overlooked upon arrival, but it's since become a respected tuner for beginners on a budget. The Mazdaspeed 3 features a turbocharged 2.3-liter 4-cylinder engine that puts out 263 horsepower and 280 pound-feet of torque. Those numbers are quite formidable, especially for this adorable hatchback with a smile. Production ran from 2007 to 2013, but it retained the same performance figures throughout its run, so if you don't really care about anything other than performance, I'd say just buy the 2007-2008 ones. If you want a modern interior, go ahead and buy the more modern ones. However, the 2007 and 2008 Mazdaspeed 3s are holding value fairly well, but they've finally dipped into 6K territory, making them way cheaper than the newer ones, and also very affordable, especially for younger individuals who are looking for a fast, fun, reliable, and practical car. Honorable mentions: Honda Civic and Mazda Miata. I put both of these here because every other YouTuber and myself mention these cars in every video, and the whole reason I put it here still, so people wouldn't complain about where they are. You know what I mean. Anyways, I don't want them to take up a whole entry because everyone talks about them already, so before you ask, but wait, where's the Miata? Here it is. Here's the Miata. Porsche 944. I always seem to be finishing my list with Porsches lately, and it's always because it starts with me searching for European entries for my list, only to figure out that most of their cars fall apart the moment you drive it off the lot, with exceptions to Volvos of course, but I mentioned those too many times anyways. So let's mix things up and throw a Porsche instead. The 944 isn't exactly the most reliable car either, but it will hold itself together better than the Fiero does, and if I put the Fiero on this list, I'll be damned if I don't put the 944 on it as well. I know the 944 is very overhyped and constantly compared to the Miata as a cheap track demon, but the hype does come with some justification. The 944 spanned from 1982 to 1991 and used a wide array of 4-cylinder engines, some with or without turbochargers. Depending on the model year of what you want, they can go for as low as $3,000 up to $10,000. Either way, you're still getting a Porsche, which can be very nice to tell your friends. Status aside, this car is still really fun to drive, and even to this day, there's a huge community behind these cars, so if you need help fixing one, you'll have others to turn to. The aftermarket for these cars isn't too desolate either, so you can make it your own. It has a surprisingly good storage space, and decently, it's just a nice car to drive daily if you really want that as well. So if you get your 944 to a well-sorted state where it won't break down all the time, you could definitely take it traveling about. And honestly, I hope everyone takes these cars to as many places as possible, whether that be the track or just on the road. Go and make memories and drive them to the ground, because after all, cars are meant to be driven. That's all I've got for this video, so thanks for watching, and if you're new here, make sure to subscribe if you love cars. Other than that, see y'all next time. Blade Angel out.